let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to introduce our very accomplished guest that we have here today. I'm very pleased to have an hour of Sherry's time. Sherry Peterson is a very accomplished real estate investor among owning several businesses. Sherry has started, has built, and sold a multi-million-dollar business, and in the course of her real estate investing career, has done very well for herself to the point where she was doing so many deals that she was running into trouble of funding those deals with the quick turn with which she was able to find the deals and then sell them to willing buyers. So Sherry found through need an opportunity to create another business, and that business is one of transactional funding. Now, what is transactional funding, you might be asking? Well, I'm going to let Sherry explain exactly what transactional funding is, how it could be a benefit to you and your real estate business, and how transactional funding in today's marketplace is the missing piece to the puzzle that cannot be solved by hard money lenders, that in many cases can't be solved with private money lenders, and in many cases can't even be fulfilled by your own cash due to limitations thereof. So without further ado, welcome Sherry Peterson to today's call, and please get out pencil and paper and be ready to take copious notes for the information and knowledge that she has to put forth. Sherry?
Well, thanks, Andre. I appreciate that, and welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you guys could make it today on the call, and I know everybody is so busy. They've got, Andre and I were talking about how busy our lives are, and I know that your lives are all just as busy, and I'm sure you'd probably rather be just hanging out with your family right now or heading off to the beach. Boy, that sure looks good, doesn't it, with this weather? Or, maybe just relaxing with a good book. But, we're all here to learn and move forward, so I really appreciate it that you take time out of your schedule today to listen to what we're talking about, and that is getting cash for your deals. So I promise that today you're going to walk away from this webinar with valuable information, and it's all going to be for free. You're not going to be paying a penny today. And the information will allow you to make thousands and thousands of dollars in real estate. And I'm not here to sell you any kind of DVD home study course or sign you up for some big boot camp or tell you that I'm going to offer you some dramatic plan for $79.95 that you can pay for only 3 payments of $4.95 to really get any kind of information. But what I'm going to provide you is just some education, pure education, plain and simple, that will explain to you how transactional funding works and how you can use it to grow your business by leaps and bounds. So stick around to the end, and I'll give you some goodies that could dramatically change how you approach your real estate investing business. And you'll also get an opportunity to save hundreds of dollars on funding your next deal. So let me tell you about what we're going to talk about today. First of all, what is transactional funding? We'll kind of go over the basics of what that is. That may be a new concept to you guys out there. It may be one you've been hearing about but don't really understand. So we'll go into that. And also, when do you use funding for one day? That's what people usually think of with transactional funding, that it's funding for one day. But there's also another type of transactional funding, and that will be multi-day funding. And you're hearing more and more about that. And so we'll kind of talk a little bit about what the circumstances are that require a multi-day funding situation. There's all this idea out there that there's, flipping is illegal. I don't know how many times I've heard from real estate agents or whoever, oh, you can't do that, flipping is illegal. And, there are some situations that are fraudulent when it comes to flipping. And I'm sure everybody who's on this call today is really trying to learn and do the right thing. But you might find yourself in a situation where you are accidentally or inadvertently putting yourself walking on shaky ground that you could possibly be breaking some rules. So we'll talk a little bit about what to do to make sure that you're not doing anything fraudulent, so how you can avoid any kind of fraudulent situations. And then we'll talk about how to flip and close in only 2 days those awful short sales that have the 30-day no-sell clause. That's one of the things that we're running into a lot these days. I'm getting call after call of people that are going crazy because after all of their work with getting their short sale approved and all the months, and you know what a nightmare is to get through the banks and get those deals closed, and they finally get their approval letter only to find out that it has a clause in there that says, oops, you cannot resell this property for at least 30 days. So I will tell you how to get around that and close those deals in 2 days. So, but first let me tell you just a little bit about myself. My name is Sherry Peterson, and I've been married for almost 22 years to my lovely husband Roger there on the right. And like any self-respecting person who posts pictures of themselves online, I have chosen 2 pictures that show us looking the youngest and thinnest as we've ever looked in the last 5 years. So I also have 2 beautiful girls, and they're the center of me and my husband's world. I can't believe, I mentioned earlier, I can't believe that my oldest is already heading off to college this year, and my youngest will be a sophomore in high school. And then I also have my dogs. I've got 2 great dogs. They're Cookie and Bailey. And believe it or not, Bailey, the golden retriever on the right, she is actually the mother of Cookie, the golden doodle, on the left. So in addition to being a business owner and real estate investor, I had a little bit of a run as a dog breeder. So so kind of, you know, I'm in Missouri. It's kind of like required when you're living in the state of Missouri. You have to breed dogs. But I don't know if you know that. But we had a wonderful dog breeding. We only had 2 litters. They were right in our house. We didn't have pens stacked up in the backyard or anything like that. Like I think we're the Missouri is the puppy mill capital of the world. So it was nothing like that. It was nothing like that. It was totally legitimate. But anyway, so Cookie is the daughter of Bailey. But anyway, so a little more about myself. My first business was a business that was called Webster Group International. It was also known as WGI, and what